It started on a hot summer morning in Willow Creek Estates, a quiet suburban neighborhood known for its manicured lawns and strict HOA rules. For years, residents had put up with the HOA's constant meddling, letters for grass length, warnings about mailbox colors, even threats over Christmas decorations. But this time they went too far. Alex Carter, a local delivery driver and 10-year resident, was finishing his shift when he found two bright orange cones blocking the entrance to his street. A sign read, "Private road, show permission required." Alex frowned. Private road? Since when? He moved one cone aside and drove through, only to be stopped by Karen, HOA president and self-proclaimed guardian of community. Order. Her arms were crossed, sunglasses perched on her nose like she was guarding a military base. "Excuse me, Alex," she said sharply. "You can't drive through here anymore. The HOA board voted last week. This road belongs to us now." Alex blinked. "What are you talking about? This is a public road. I pay taxes for this street just like everyone else." Karen smirked. "Not anymore. The HOA maintains it, therefore we own it. Starting today, only authorized residents and guests are allowed." A small crowd began to gather. Neighbors whispered, some nodding in support, others rolling their eyes. Alex could feel the tension rising. "That's not how it works, Karen. You can't just claim a public road." Karen's voice grew louder. "You'll see when we install the gate next week. The city already approved it." But Alex knew something didn't add up. He worked with local deliveries every day. He knew which roads were public. He decided to make a few calls. That evening, he contacted the Department of Transportation, DOT, to verify ownership records. The next morning, his phone rang. "This is Officer Daniels from the DOT. We checked our database. Your street is absolutely public. The HOA doesn't own it. They can't restrict access." Alex grinned. "That's what I thought." He thanked the officer and decided to let the HOA dig their own hole before dropping the truth bomb. Over the next few days, Karen doubled down, printing notices, threatening fines, and even hiring a private security guard to enforce her new rule. What she didn't know was that the DOT had already scheduled a visit, and when they showed up, the entire neighborhood would be watching. 3 days later, just before noon, 2 white trucks pulled into Willow Creek Estates. The golden dot emblem gleamed under the sun. Out stepped Officer Daniels and Engineer Lopez, clipboards in hand, surveying the freshly painted private road sign that Karen had proudly installed at the entrance. Karen, wearing her trademark sun hat and a look of superiority, strutted toward them. "Good morning. You must be here to finalize our ownership paperwork," she said with a wide smile. Daniels exchanged a puzzled look with Lopez. "Finalize ownership? Ma'am, we're here to investigate a public right-of-way complaint." Karen's smile twitched. "There must be some mistake. The HOA voted to take responsibility for this road. That makes it private." Daniels flipped open his folder. "Not exactly. You can't vote to take ownership of state property, ma'am. Maintenance responsibility and legal ownership are 2 very different things." Neighbors gathered around, whispering as the scene unfolded. Alex stood near his mailbox, arms crossed, trying to hide his grin. Karen scoffed. "We've been maintaining this road for years." "The city never fixed the potholes. We paid for everything." Engineer Lopez nodded politely. "And we appreciate that, but good deeds don't change legal boundaries. This entire section," he pointed down the road, "is registered as a public right-of-way under county jurisdiction." Karen's face reddened. "That's ridiculous. We even have plans to install a gate next week." Daniels raised an eyebrow. "Installing a gate on public property is a violation of state law. You could be fined thousands of dollars and potentially charged with obstructing a public roadway." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Karen's supporters shifted uncomfortably, while others tried not to laugh. Alex stepped forward. "So just to confirm, officer, anyone can drive here, right? Delivery trucks, visitors, even emergency vehicles?" Daniels nodded. "Absolutely. No HOA can restrict access to a public road, period." Karen turned sharply. "Alex, you called them, didn't you?" He shrugged. "Someone had to check the facts." Her voice cracked with anger. "You've embarrassed this community!" Daniels spoke firmly, cutting her off. "Ma'am, the only embarrassment here would be ignoring state property laws. I'll be filing a formal report with the county. You'll need to remove that sign immediately. Lopez snapped a few photos for documentation. As they packed up, neighbors began clapping softly, some out of relief. Others just glad to see Karen finally challenged. But Karen wasn't done. Her pride burned hotter than ever. As the DOT trucks drove away, she muttered under her breath, "This isn't over. I'll prove we own this road if it's the last thing I do." Alex knew that tone all too well. The real fight was just beginning. By the next morning, word had spread like wildfire through Willow Creek Estates. Everyone was talking about how the DOT had shut down Karen's private road stunt. But instead of backing off, Karen doubled down. She called an emergency HOA meeting at the clubhouse that very evening. Flyers went out to every mailbox reading, "Mandatory HO meeting, road ownership clarification." Alex attended, more out of curiosity than obligation. When he walked in, he saw Karen standing behind the podium, her laptop hooked up to a projector showing maps, charts, and highlighted property lines. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began dramatically, "the DOT is mistaken. They rely on outdated records. I've done my own research, and it clearly shows that this road was transferred to the HOA when the subdivision was built 20 years ago." A few people clapped, while others exchanged skeptical looks. Alex raised his hand. "Can we see those documents?" Karen hesitated, then clicked to the next slide, a blurry photocopy of what looked like an old maintenance contract. Alex stood up. "That's not a deed, Karen. That's a maintenance agreement. It doesn't mean ownership." Her jaw tightened. "You're not a lawyer, Alex." He smiled. "No, but I can read. And if you're claiming ownership of public property without proof, that's fraud." Gasps echoed around the room. Karen slammed her hand on the podium. "How dare you accuse me? I've worked tirelessly to protect this neighborhood." Just then, another voice spoke from the back. It was Mr. Patel, one of the older residents. Karen, the DOT officers said they'd follow up with legal documents. "Maybe we should wait before doing anything rash." But Karen was beyond reason. "No! We'll move forward with the gate installation. The contractor comes Monday morning." That was the last straw. Alex took out his phone and recorded her statement. "Thanks, Karen. That's all I needed." She glared at him. "You're threatening me now?" "Not at all," he said calmly. "I'm just documenting HOA leadership approving an illegal construction on public property. The DOT will want to see this." The room went silent. Even her loyal supporters shifted uneasily. Karen's confidence faltered for a moment, but she quickly recovered. "Fine," she snapped. "We'll see who the law really supports." As Alex left the clubhouse, he could already hear her calling the HOA's attorney. He knew she wouldn't stop until someone forced her to. But what Karen didn't realize was that the DOT wasn't done either, and this time, they'd be returning with county officials and a legal notice. Monday morning arrived like a storm. True to her word, Karen had hired a construction crew to begin installing the new gate. Bright yellow machinery rumbled at the entrance, and 2 workers were marking the pavement for drilling. Alex stood across the street, phone in hand, recording everything. He'd already notified Officer Daniels at the DOT about Karen's latest stunt. He didn't have to wait long. Within the hour, a convoy of vehicles rolled up, 2 DOT trucks, 1 county sheriff's SUV, and a city code enforcement car. The entire neighborhood poured out of their houses to watch. Karen, dressed in her usual blazer and oversized sunglasses, marched toward them like she was expecting an apology. "You're just in time," she said smugly to Officer Daniels. "I'm glad the DOT finally came to make this official." Daniels stepped forward holding a clipboard. "Official, yes, but not in the way you think, ma'am." He handed her a document stamped with a red seal. "Notice of violation. Unauthorized construction on public right-of-way." Karen blinked. "Excuse me?" "This road," Daniels said firmly, "is state property. Your HOA has no ownership, no authority, and no right to restrict access. You are hereby ordered to cease all construction immediately." The sheriff stepped beside him. "If your crew doesn't stop now, ma'am, we'll have to issue citations for obstruction." The construction workers exchanged nervous looks and quietly began packing up their tools. Karen's face turned pale. "You can't do this! I'll sue the county!" Lopez, the DOT engineer, pointed to a survey map. "You can try, but the boundary lines are clear. This road was funded, paved, and maintained under the county budget." It has never belonged to your HOA. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Some neighbors cheered softly. Others recorded the moment. Alex stepped forward, trying not to grin too widely. Guess that settles it, huh? Karen turned on him, voice trembling. You think you've won? I was just trying to protect this neighborhood. Daniels spoke one last time, his tone measured but firm. Ma'am, enforcing rules is one thing. Breaking the law is another. You'll be receiving a fine for unauthorized signage and attempted obstruction of public property. Consider this your final warning. The sheriff handed her a citation and turned away. As the Diot vehicles drove off, Karen stood frozen, staring at the paper in her hand. Her pride finally cracked. The private road sign lay on the ground beside her, knocked over by the departing trucks. Alex walked home, the tension in the air finally lifting. The neighborhood was peaceful again. No gates, no cones, no nonsense. Later that evening, someone taped a handwritten note on the HOA bulletin board. It read simply, "Road belongs to everyone. Let's keep it that way." And for once, even Karen didn't argue.